Hello and welcome to Weetzer's Woodshop. My name's Ted. We're going to make some things. So our fireplace doesn't have a mantel, and we came up with some ideas about trying to make one or ordering one or doing something, and it just didn't seem to work out right. So my wife found this idea online, and obviously it's modified from the one we found, but this ended up working out really good for us, and we might even keep these around for a while until I actually build a mantel or forced to build a mantel. So the neat thing about these is these are all easily accessible at your home center. So, we can get these lanterns. They're decorative lanterns. They're for candles. They're for lights. We ended up putting some LED. Let's see if I can turn these on. Yeah, we ended up putting some LED strips in here and some battery powered ones. And then some pine cones and some berries and some decorative stuff. But the neat thing about these is super simple, and it's a good project that probably lasts a long time. We used boat cleats. We kind of like the nautical stuff for decoration. Our house is kind of drifted toward that way. So, and they just work out really good. So it's nice to be able to put, and they're heavy, but they're really easy to move around. You can even use these handles here, or these as handles, and you can get them around and store them. Now that's the big thing, is we got to figure out where we're going to store these, but this could be something that you could keep all year round next to the fireplace if you need to, and just not have the stockings on them. So we're going to go over this, and we'll go over some procedures. And we came up with a better idea, not a better idea, but another idea. So we have a dual purpose for these, and we're going to use these at my wife's work for coat hangers. So we're not going to go as decorative as this, so it's not going to be festive, but we're going to multi-purpose these things, and we'll probably use the same type of hooks. We'll probably use a decorative ball on the top, and we'll go over each one of these pieces, and I'll share with you how I did this. So let's just talk about the build from the bottom up. Let's do that, because every good build is a good build because of a solid foundation. So what I did for the decorative ones is I used just 3/4 inch 16 by 16 piece of plywood, just your standard plywood. And it's a little lighter, so on the coat rack I'm gonna make it out of MDF. So that's heavier, that's a nicer base. It's still 3/4 inch, but 16 by 16, and I might fudge a little, go 18 by 18, just so I have a bigger base. And because coats and purses and stuff that they hang on this could be heavy, so we don't want anything tipping over. So the next step up here was just 1 by 2, and I cut it as molding, and made the 45s, joined it all together, and went around the base. Then in here, people call it shiplap. It's tongue and groove. It's just pine. Everything's just pine. Right up here is 2 pieces of that tongue and groove. So all I did was stack them up on each other, cut them to length, cut them at a 45, did the same thing as I did the molding, and then left it. And then left the top, this top piece that inserts, I just left that up there. Now the cool trick to this was, the next level, is I ended up taking one of these cedar 4x4 fence post caps. I cut out the top, and then I made it exactly, almost exactly, so it's 3.5 by 3.5, more than 4x4. So, and then I just slid it all the way down, and then just left it there. And then of course we've got to fill in all the gaps, but look at how good that looks. How simple, It no sanding, no anything, just a little modification on the top, and I think that came out great. So you could do whatever you want, but keep it simple. And then all the way up, of course, I ended up putting the boat cleats as hooks. And then we got the LED system. This is the back side, so you don't see that. And then on the very top of this, which this beam I made total for the decorative ones, 36 inches. So the coat rack, I think we're going to go a little higher. I'm going to go about 44 inches. It gives people the opportunity to put a longer coat on here. And then we're only going to do these 2 side cleats here and here, and then we'll bring them up a little higher. And then of course we use the lantern with the LED lights in there. Instructions on the back, you hold this so it turns on. They're sound activated, so which is kind of cool. Beat sinks. They were really cheap. I couldn't believe how cheap they were, but they work really good. And there's a couple different settings. Steady on, let's see, what's that one say? Slow pulse, blinking, and then the light show, which responds to music. So, and they actually work. So, but you can do whatever you wish. But we're not going to put the lantern. We're just going to keep that probably flat on the top. If I put anything up there any higher, it's probably going to be a little dangerous. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see when we get there. But that's it. And then when you're done, this is all hand painted by brush. I personally like, oh, sorry, we almost forgot this. We're going to put these hooks on. I remembered that the wife made the rules here. So we're going to put these hooks on instead, because these might be, I don't know. Yeah, these might be not as safe. So if they fall, grab somebody, or if you reach forward and you grab your purse or your coat sleeve or something grabs it, it won't be as dangerous. So we'll put these up higher. They look nice. They're kind of rustic looking, so we'll see what happens here. And then that's it. And then the top is obviously, we capped it with another cap that we didn't have to drill the top off of that. And then but after it's done, like I was saying with the paint, I just use regular latex interior paint, and I brushed it. To me, I like that rustic look. Some people don't. Some people really like the smooth finish look. We ended up doing this, and it came out super nice. I really like it, but it's a matter of opinion. So let's get this party started. We'll go over and turn on the dust collection. Alright, so next I guess we'll take our 4x4. We'll just use this on the chop saw. It's easy, it's quick. We'll measure this out. We'll square off one end first, and then we'll measure this out and get both ends square, and so that thing will sit up super nice on the MDF. What? Oh. Man, when they make a quiet vacuum, we're going to be in heaven. Setup going, I'll cut the rest of these tongue and groove pieces, and then we'll quit that. Do the molding for the bottom, and we'll make these 7 inches. So next we'll just use a round over bit on our router table, and let me get my hearing protection. And each one of those pieces that we cut for the molding on the bottom, we'll just we'll put a nice little round edge on them. Nothing fancy, just like to square up this fence first. Just put your square up against the bearing you have right there, and then tighten it down. So that is the perfect amount of travel that we need. Make sure that moves, make sure that's tight. We're good for that. And We got our suction hooked up here. Just make sure that goes in there. Got this plugged in, and we're good to go. Alright, first one done. So this is what I was talking about. Get it to slide over. It's still pretty tight right now, which is pretty good. I just used a chisel and cleaned up some of this. You can just use a regular sanding block and get the edges. A little bit of tear out, actually a lot of tear out on using my jigsaw, so probably gonna have to figure out something else or a sharper blade. But not too concerned about this, because when we put this on, I'll use the wood filler or just some, what is it called? Acrylic, not acrylic. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now, but we'll fill in those cracks and we'll get that all nice. And then, because it's going to be painted anyway, we're going to paint these white, and then we'll go from there. So off to number 2. Now you can use this one when you get it the right size as a good template. So you just put this over here. Line this up really good, and then just trace in there and then cut that out. So off to number 2. Alright, so we ended up getting both of these to fit. Had to go a little different technique and went back to basics. Hammer, chisel. Got them to go right where they need to go. So once these, now they're real snug, that they're going to get loose because we're going to sand these 4x4s, and they should slide right down. So for these, I guess we'll just use 150 grit. Make sure it's on them. Yeah, so we don't need these super smooth because we're going to paint them. So we want a little bit of texture or a little bit of surface so that the paint can at least stick to it. But we'll clean these up really nice and enjoy the sanding, just like none of us do. Turn the overhead dust collection on. So now we got the bases all done, everything's sanded, and we'll find the centers here. So basically this diagonal is probably, well, we did 18 inches square, so this diagonal is probably 25 inches, so about 12 and a half inches in the center. So just use a straight edge. You can use a ruler, you can use a piece of plexiglass, you can use whatever you can find. It's straight. Just mark a little X in the center. Go the other way. Get this lined up. And try to be perfect, you know? Nobody is, but just try. Get the center there. Looks good to me. Now, we know that a 4x4 is not really 4x4, so 3.5 by 3.5. So what we'll do is, let's use this square again. I'll just use it as a nice reference. We'll come out, well, half of 3.5 is 1 3/4 inches, so we'll just come out and I'll do what I can here to get this as straight as possible. So 1 3/4 inches. There's a tick mark. Let's go over here. Inch. Boy, it really stinks being left-handed. 1 3/4 inches. We'll go right there. That's not 1 3/4 inches. Who do we get here? Boy, that's a screw up. That's a big 4x4. All right, 1 3/4 inches right there. That's 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches. There we go. 1 3/4 inches. Okay, so these little marks here, this little mark here. We'll do the same. Go into this side. We don't really need this, I guess. So we'll go to 1 3/4 inches. Mark this one, little tick mark there. And 1.75" up here, 1.75" up there. All right, now we can use these and square this up. Just make a reference line right there. Reference line on this one. Doesn't have to be all the way across. We'll do, geez, I put so many dots on here. Which one do I use? We'll do that one, and we'll do this one. So now we have a reference, and we can test that with the cutoff that we have here. And you just line up the edges, and you're good to go. So pretty square, pretty straight. So we'll do that with the whole piece, and then we'll attach it. So what I came up with to attach this to the base is pocket hole screws, but I'll only use 2, one on each side, and then I'll use another screw from the bottom, and we'll countersink that a little bit, and then we'll just make that super strong. So always check, make sure we're going into 3/4 inch MDF. Mark your screw jig here. Make sure it's at 3/4 inch. Pick that out. Use your attachment, use a clamp. Put this puppy in a drill. And just go to town. There's one. And we'll just undo it. And we'll get the other side. Flip it around. Put this up. Make sure it's flat against there. You can pick wherever you want. There's a little bit of a crack right there, so I can move this over just a little bit. Remember, this is going to be covered up by that shiplap, so we'll get that all squared away. And kind of slipped. Tighten that up. Craig makes really good clamps. I just didn't get one down, so these are just as easy. Oh, maybe not. Look at that slip. See? I need a Craig clamp. Come on. Must be the new year. Alright, let's see if we can do this. There we go. Easy peasy. Now, since we did do 3/4 inch on the, or going into that material, so we need to, let's move this over. Bring this up here. These are references. Line this up as we can. That's pretty square. That's really square. Super good. Get these out of the way. And we need a bit. And since MDF is super dense, I'll just treat it as a hardwood. It should say, maybe it does say in here, but you don't have to. But if we're going to, 3/4 inch, 19 millimeters, or into that material thickness, so we just use inch and 1/4 screws. So let's get a couple of them out, and let's do that. I'll go get my impact wrench or impact driver. Line that up. Let's see where we're going. Hold this down. There you have it. There's one. Turn this around. And drop another one in there. And then we'll flip this over. And put some big ones in the bottom. So on the underside, find a nice big wood screw. I think this is 3.5, 4 inch, 3.5 I think. Pilot hole, find your center. Drill a nice little pilot hole. Get that all the way through. Countersink it. Make sure that's deep enough. Looks like I might have to get a new one of those. That looks good. And then just drive it home. Perfect. Nothing sticking out. A little bit of burr right there, so let's get a chisel. This one should be sharp enough. And then just slowly run it along that. Take that off. Smooth as silk. That's it. And then repeat. Do the second one. Alright, for the bottom shiplap, or the tongue and groove that we're using, all you had to do was make a 45 on this side. And then, as you can see, this is scrap wood, so I'd already had a piece that was glued in there, so I cut that off flat. So we'll use this for the bottom portion. So cut that 45, use your measurement that you're going to mount this to, which is that 4x4. Get the proper distance, set it up here, put a stop block to cut the other side. So you have to cut it like this, flip it, and then of course this is the exposed side. Flip it up, put it against the stop. Since this is a short piece and it's kind of dangerous, I don't have a stop block right here. So install one so you keep your fingers. It takes a little more time, but I'm not a contractor. I'm not building something for somebody for money. This is just for fun. So you want to keep your fingers, take your time, safety first. So has it all set up, cut this. I'll do the rest of these and we'll see what happens. Let me turn on the exhaust or the dust collector. Turn on the big dust collector. All right, so I like it. So keep those all right there. Love me some wood glue. Makes it as strong as possible. Put it on all 4 of them. I'm using Type Bond 3 just because there is a possibility that these could get wet. It rains a lot here in Whidbey Island, so if we're going to use these as a coat hanger, somebody's going to come in with a wet coat. So let's see what happens. You don't have to spread this around too much, but I will. Whatever's left over, just put on the post. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm not blocking anything. So put the first one up. And put the second one here. We'll get that edge really good. I like to use 23 gauge brad nails because it leaves such a little hole. And you can hear the compressor. Shut this other one. There's 2. That looks really good. This side's good. There, bring that in. Nice edge. Good 45. And the last one. This one's a little warped, but that's okay. There we go. Maybe I'm a little warped. Put that in there. Nice. That taunt. There you have it. So what we're going to do is repeat for the top, and we'll build that up, and then we'll do our molding. Alright, so we got by the magic of video, we got the top all done. Let's see how it looks like. You got a little tear on it. Might be needing a new blade, or might be need to be sharpened, or we'll see. So that's snug. That's really good. Alright, perfect. Almost. That'll work. We'll glue this up. Keep those right where they need to be. Have to Forgive me a little bit. Got the sniffles. It's been a little chilly. I don't even have the heater on in the shop today. We're having a windstorm, so if there's a sudden power outage, you'll know why now. Now, put this on there. And there. Get these snug. Perfection. All right. Hold those up. Few pins. Man, this is looking good. Side. Probably an overload of pins, but I don't want that to go anywhere. All right. Stage 2 complete. Now let's get on that molding. Alright, so did the same exact procedure with the molding on the crosscut sled. And actually before we glue it up, let's just check it out. Put it all up there. There we go. Perfect. Alright, really, really good. This one's a little proud. And just gotta hold it on there. That's some good angles right there. A little bit of sanding on the edges just to dawn. This one's a little off. There we go. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Got a little tear out again, so guess what? Gonna sand, gonna fill some, maybe use some filler. Probably just some caulking. And paintable caulking, so that's really good. Little edge there. Alright, so let's glue it up. Still using 1-inch 23 gauge brad nails, so we'll just do I have to spread it out? Yeah, I probably should, but I don't think I have to. So let's see if it's, maybe we'll just do a little bit there. There. Here. Alright. Let's install this like we know what we're doing. Nice. Nice. Oh, I got it going. Might as well put a couple just to hold it in there. Beautiful. Go the other side. Look at that. Huh? A little squeeze out right there. Get that out of there. That's what the back of the pencil's for, right? Oh, this will work. There we go. Not too shabby. See? Look how nice that is. Alright, next step. Let's see. I got them over here. Let's do this one. Let's bring this all the way down. See if this slides. This should. And make that up. Look at that. Just pin that in place. So I'm not even going to glue it. I'm just going to square it up. Look at how that mates right there. And yeah, you know what? Before we attach this, we'll probably sand these corners down just so they don't get in the way. And we'll sand a little bit of this down. But check that out. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Super cool. Alright, let's do some sanding. Alright, so I didn't get a good picture of it last time, but let's put this back on. I got all the sanding done. And let's press this down and show you what exactly that looks like. Alright, yeah. 2 different colors. Remember, this is going to be painted, so painted white or an off-white or something. So, quick little tip. I use a mask when I sand or do a lot of the other dusty work, which is most of the stuff. So a lot of times we get pretty balmy, sweaty, we're breathing in here hard, we're lifting things.
So these don't smell very good. Now this one's a washable one and we can a disposable filter on the inside. But one of the tips that I learned is just to put a little your favorite smelling tea bag. This is cinnamon. This is some Harney and Sons tea from Germany, so one of our family's favorites. So, but put a little tea bag in there, get that good cinnamon smell, and keep it in there. Now, don't keep it in there for years, but it will stay there for a long time. So make sure to change it out if it doesn't smell good anymore. Just a quick tip. All right, so it looks like we're ready for the top, and we got everything sanded and cracks filled. So we're good to go. One of the mistakes I made from the last lamp holder, or oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Merry Christmas to me. One of the stocking holders that I made is I ended up putting this top on. I was so excited about getting it done, and I rushed through it and wasn't concentrating, and I put one of them on crooked. So we're gonna fix that today. So what I did is set this one on top of here. Looks like we're high this side. And going this way, it looks like we're spot on. So it looks like we just take a little bit of painter's tape. You can use anything. Maybe stash some treasure in there. Who knows? I don't know. And just put a couple on the side right here. Let's see how many we can do. I'll just start with 3 or 4 pieces. And put that back on exactly the same. Go that way. Ooh, pretty good. That was a good guess. Ooh, that way's perfect. So looks like we can do one more here. Raise that up a little. Make sure you don't go beyond half. That would defeat the whole purpose. And that way's good. Oh, so close. Let's get some perfection going here. We can figure this out. One more piece, maybe 2 more pieces. There. And one here. That'll work. Oh, it already feels level. Yeah, right. All right, still good that way. And wow. Let's see what we got here. Still a little level. Maybe I should have just put a piece of wood in there or something, but painter's tape is pretty cheap, so it's a good fix. It's not coming off, so nobody's gonna notice this stuff. What they will notice is all your imperfections. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right, we're golden. That was it. So now we just get our. Now I still am using the 1-inch brad nails. Don't forget your safety glasses. And apologize for the noise in the background if you hear it. I had to turn the heater on. It is chilly today, so we ended up not losing power with our windstorm. So, all right, let's fasten this up. Love these 23 gauge brad nails, man. They don't leave any holes. So there we have it. We're finished. So I'll cap the next one, and next thing you see, I sanded everything already, so I prepped it all, filled the cracks, and we'll do some painting. Yay! So in a video earlier, I was showing you these bench cookies by Rockler. So if you can see, I have these elevated, and that allows me to get to the edges without touching the edge of the paper. I mean, you know, you prep your area for spill and do whatever anyway, but I can get that whole area really nice by just having this elevated. So man, these things have been just amazing. Yeah, no, I'm not sponsored, but so go on out and buy yourself some of these. They also have the, if you do paint on both sides, let's say I did paint the bottom of this, they have cones that just snap on there. And then they even have extensions too. You can go high or low. There's high, there's low. So, and you know, the grip on both sides, so they don't go anywhere. They don't move. So this is good stuff. Invest, guys, invest. All right, well, we're gonna paint. What I like to do is use some of the kilts. I got all sorts of wood on here: cedar, pine, MDF. So I'm going to seal it with some kilts first, and then we'll go over it with that, and that should give us a nice finish. Everything's sanded and ready to go. Alright, well, I got them painted. I got the primer on there, and there's some paint right here, I guess. And now I'm just going to let them dry overnight. We got to put the hooks on. Touch this up a little bit, that looks better. Alright, well, I got a fingerprint on this side. Perfection, perfection, perfection. So, but other than that, it came out really nice. This is kind of an off-white, kind of antique, ivory, whatever you want to call it, I guess. But it is good paint. So I'm going to bring my heater over. If you can see this, it's got a blue flame heater. I put a fan on it, and I'm going to get this closer, turn this up a little bit, get some airflow going. So this should be a really nice looking paint job in the morning. I hope so. So here's the hooks. We're going to put on some kind of antique looking, hope you can see that. I guess they're rustic. I guess you could call them rustic, but they're nice. So we'll go with that, and we'll let that dry, and we'll see what happens in the morning. Be dry. Pretty nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, it's time for coffee. 4:30 a.m. All right. So the next day has arrived. Don't mind the cup of joe. So what I'm going to do today is, since the paint's all dry, and it looks just fine to me, we are going to put the hooks on. So I came up with the idea of 3/4 of an inch from the top. Found these nice hooks. I have a couple of them. So I'm going to put in some bigger screws, of course, make it stronger. Why not? But to put it up, I'm just going to put a block here, 3/4 of an inch, center it the best I can. Put that puppy in there, and we should be good to go. So, as a matter of fact, I can mark this hole. That looks straight to me. A couple little dimples. Voila! La. Well, there you have it. 2 brand new coat hangers. These will be delivered today. Hopefully I can get a video on that. We'll see what happens. But this was a fun project. A lot of different things going on here. A lot of nice shapes, a lot of nice angles to cut. Great practice, great beginning project for learning how to do molding and maybe some shiplap, that kind of stuff. Painting. I don't like painting, so these hooks came out a lot better than I thought they would. The accents are nice. It doesn't overdo it. So, well, you know the deal. Hit that like and subscribe button. And thanks for watching Weetzer's workshop. Oh, before I forget, let's give it the test here. There you have it.
Every day. Here comes the wife. So, and look at the rain. Beautiful. That's Whidbey Island for you. That's the way it is. All right, well, we'll see what we can do.